Okay, I just want to make a video here saying that I just watched the hearing on HR38, the one that just occurred at 2 p.m. Local time there in Washington, D.C. And I have to say, I'm more confused than ever about what the frick is going on. When you look at it on paper, it was like, oh, you know, some Democrats and some Republicans. Some Democrats were trying to make it even of a worse bill with some of their amendments. And then you looked at like Republicans like King were trying to separate HR4477 from HR38. But then you watch the actual hearing and it's the Republicans that are putting the two together, and it's the Democrats are arguing to get them apart, and it's just like, what's going on? It's like they've made it such a deliberately confusing game that no one can figure out who's really for the bills and who's trying to kill the bills and who's trying to pass the bills. It's just theater, and it's just deliberately confusingly written theater, and it's just sad. Also, I did get to hear some really funny things, like some states allow children to get carry permits by the representative from Nevada. And of course, Jackson Lee went off on something that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. I think her diabetes medicine is interacting with her liquid lunch or something. She was just all over the place. This Hastings guy, oh my God. I think the favorite thing I heard him say the whole day was when one of the Republicans presented him with a study that showed that concealed carry permit holders are at far less risk of committing a crime. His response was, I'm not going to take the time to dispel that myth because it would bore my colleagues. It's an actual study, a scientific argument that you're not going to bother to dispel. That had to be one of the most creative, that doesn't agree with my reality, so I reject it statements that I've heard in a while. It was just garbage. It was confusing. It was all over the place. I actually have no idea where we stand right now. Start calling your congressmen, start calling your senators. And we are running into the problem now where it's looking like HR 38 won't pass on its own. That the only way it could pass is if there's some sort of nix fix attached to it. And that was the one impression that I did walk away from that meeting with, that neither Republicans nor Democrats think that HR 38 will pass on its own. Now, whether that's something they're portraying just to make it look like, oh, we tried and it failed, or they're actually believing that, I don't know. But the way 4477 is written right now, it can't be attached to HR 38. Now, I'm okay with saying, if they want to fix NICS, they have to say, hey, all you organizations that are required to submit this information to NICS, if you don't, you'll be fined. I'm fine with that. But because then that might be a good reason to get rid of NICS, because these agencies might be going, hey, we're getting sick of paying these fines. Let's get rid of NICS because it doesn't do anything anyway. But the way it's written now, they can't be combined, but it's gotten very confusing. If someone wants to explain to me what I watched, because it was literally like at times like watching kindergartners argue over, what color the sky should be in a drawing. It had no basis in reality, and it was just, most of it, nonsense. So, like I said, not real sure where things stand right now, but it's not looking good. So I think we need to start calling our representatives and tell them, hey, we want to know where you stand on this bill. We want to know what you're doing to get it passed. We want to see it passed clean. We don't want this garbage 4477 attached to it. At least if it's going to fail, let it fail on its own so we can know what senators are against it. Because if HR 38 goes clean to the House of Representatives and clean to the Senate, we would have to see people stand up and take a stand against it. And if any Republicans in the House take a stand against it, they're gone. They should be gone. We should get rid of them. And in the Senate, any Democrats that stand up against it, we should say, hey, if you're in a state that's kind of 50-50, which a lot of states are kind of getting that 50-50 mix nowadays, that used to be purely red or purely blue, we'll get rid of you too. Is this something you really want to risk your career on, national reciprocity? So we need to get these bills clean to the floor. We need to get HR 38 clean to the floor. As far as I'm concerned, I agree with Representative King. Of course, I didn't see him during the whole hearing. He had amendments put up, but I didn't see him the whole hearing, so I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe I missed him. But it was just a shit show. Just a shit show. It's the only way you can describe it. So let's get on the phones. Let's start writing those letters. Let's let them know we want to see a clean HR 38 on the floor of both the House and the Senate. And we will be watching, and we will hold those accountable who vote against the rights of us as citizens to carry our handguns in defense of our own selves.